smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
On Joe Budden's Patreon, he's been shooting some exclusive behind-the-scenes content. In the latest episode titled Tone Deaf, Joe Budden took a shot at Rory, his former co-host. Now, what sparked the jab? Rory went to X, formerly known as Twitter, to give his take on the new Kendrick Lamar album and the news about Drake suing Universal Music Group. Joe laughed at Rory, essentially mocking him and suggesting that Rory was fiending to put out his opinion as fast as possible. Joe Budden made it clear that he thinks Rory might be mad at the pod gods. Why? Because when it comes to hip-hop news, Joe Budden is the industry's go-to voice. When the Kendrick Lamar album dropped, Joe went viral on X and other social media platforms, even without giving a full review of the album. People were glued to their phones waiting to hear Joe's thoughts, and that level of influence is something he feels Rory envies. Joe believes Rory got salty that the pod guys handed him this moment to dominate the discourse, and Rory didn't capitalize on it properly. Instead, Rory ran to X to give his take for free, while Joe monetizes off his opinions and content. Look at the files.
God bless the pod guys. God bless the pod guys.
You gotta thank them.
All praise due to the pod guys.
Rory was mad at the pod guys. He had to jump on X. He had to jump on X to give a take.
Had to get that out.
Yeah.
Hey, my brother.
It's always next week.
Just wait. Hey, the pod gods didn't bless. Oh. You gave your take for free?
See what I tweeted.
On X?
See what I tweeted. They was like, yo, what you
Oh, no.
think? Like, what you think about this? I said, about the Drake. You will find out what I think. Where I'm paid. I tell you what I think. Then they got mad at me.
Oh.
Now, Ice, another member of the Joe Budden podcast, chimed in during the Patreon episode. He mentioned that people on X were asking him what he thought about Kendrick's album and Drake's lawsuit, but he responded by saying they'd have to tune into the podcast to hear his thoughts. That's the approach Joe thinks Rory should have taken, saving these hot topics for his own platform rather than giving away valuable insights without any strategic planning. Now, interestingly, Joe didn't even critique Rory's take directly. He didn't say whether Rory's opinion was good or bad. Instead, the focus seemed to be more on Rory's decision to share his thoughts so quickly, without thinking about how to release content about such major topics like the Kendrick album and the Drake UMG lawsuit, in a way that would actually benefit Rory's brand. Joe's disappointment wasn't in Rory's take itself, but rather in his inability to approach these moments with the calculated mindset of a seasoned podcaster. Now, I have some questions for you guys. Do you think Joe Budden has a point about how podcasters should approach major topics like album releases and lawsuits? Should they save their insights for monetized platforms, or is sharing on social media just a part of the game now? Was Rory wrong for going to X immediately with his take, or does this just show a difference in style between the two? And do you think Rory is still feeling the shadow of Joe Budden's influence on the podcasting world, or is this Joe being overly critical of his, old former co-hosts? And what do you think about Ice's strategy of keeping his thoughts exclusive to the Joe Budden podcast? Is that a smarter move in today's content landscape? Now, we can have a deeper conversation about the value of content and how content creators especially, can maximize their reach of profitability. Joe Budden's strategy is all about exclusivity, saving the best takes for his podcast, Patreon, or other monetized spaces. It's a reminder to podcasters and content creators to think about how they release their ideas. Are you giving away your best content for free, or are you reserving it for spaces that can grow your platform and bring in revenue? Let's not forget, Joe's ability to dominate discussions like this stems from his reputation and how he's cultivated a loyal audience over time. For aspiring podcasters, this might be a chance to consider how you can build your own go-to status in your niche. Now, what do you think? Drop your comments, right? Drop them all. Let's talk about this. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. And do you think, Joe Budden should stop picking at Rory and Maul and all of them? Like, she just leave it alone. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. And we'll be back with the files.
My guy Dub too. That's my man though.
Gang gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.